Hi, I'm Brad Lawler, co-founder and head of product at Draft. So we recently started bringing people onto our new investment tool, and a few, let's say, unexpected things came about. First, I upset both of my parents. A girl cried, and my good friend Mark actually got so mad that he threw his phone. Now, Mark definitely overreacted, but Mark is like a lot of investors. He understands the importance of his long-term investments, but he doesn't actually understand his long-term investments. He tried several years ago to use an online discount broker, but found it to just be completely overwhelming. So he hired a financial advisor, reluctantly. And since the very beginning, he's always had trouble really understanding and feeling comfortable with the relationship. The investment jargon goes right over his head. The online tools are clunky and complicated. So he became complacent, like so many people do, and just started to blindly trust that his guy knew what he was doing and was good at his job. That's why Mark got so upset when he first used Draft. For the first time, he could see his investment accounts in a way that made sense to him, and he could understand the impact of what he was doing inside of his accounts and how it was affecting his hard-earned money. Now, technology alone is not going to create this type of reaction from people. However, new technologies combined with crowdsourced data and a simple dashboard, we do have the ability to not only help investors understand their investment accounts, but to change their bad investing behavior. Draft does this with a focus on mobile, not just for convenience purposes, but also for social reasons. Because in order for us to really break free of the investing silos that we're currently in right now, we need to be able to share with and learn from each other. Now, I know that the ideas of crowdsourced and social inside of a personal investment tool may be a little worrisome for some people. So to reduce that concern, for the presentation today, I'm actually going to demo Draft using a live connection to my own accounts. And I'm able to do that because every screen in Draft defaults to percentages. I can always get back to my dollar amounts by pressing and holding the $ button at the bottom, which Jason's not going to do today. Thank you. Hope you don't mind. But we do this, and let's go ahead and start with the accounts. If we look at my accounts, you can see that I have 4 accounts connected to Draft: a 401k, an IRA, a brokerage, and a checking account. Draft gives me the ability to toggle on and off these accounts. If I toggle them back on, I can see that I'm aggressive. And to do this, Draft actually uses percent equity and standard deviation of my selected accounts to tell me which risk category I fall in. I don't consider my checking account as part of my long-term investment strategy, so I'm actually going to leave that turned off. But first off, this is a very helpful thing for a lot of people. They don't realize which one of these categories they're in, but it's really just the beginning inside of Draft. Now I can compare the performance, allocation, and fees of my aggressive portfolios to the top performers inside of my category. The user can always switch the comparison group to the S&P 500 or another traditional index, but are those even good benchmarks for a diversified strategy? Draft has created a better benchmark, one that makes it easy for users to fill allocation gaps and lower fees. So let's take a closer look at just how simple and powerful this comparison can be. If I open up the returns card, I can see my historical performance versus my peers over different time periods. If I swipe up, I can see how my asset allocation compares across equity, fixed income, and cash, different styles, different geographic regions, and even different sectors. Here you can see that I'm missing exposure to foreign equity. My friend Mark was missing small cap and emerging markets, but he wasn't familiar with what these terms meant, so he was hesitant to do anything. Every view in Draft has an info button at the bottom to help people understand the data and terms that are being used throughout the platform. Now, for the most important part, the fees. OMG fees, OMG fees. I was surprised to see that I'm paying almost 1% in fees. Mark learned that he was paying over 2% in fees. When he pressed the little button down at the bottom, he saw that he was paying over $2,000 in fees, which is way more than he expected, which will add up to over $350,000 before he retires, just in fees. Now, at this point, he hadn't thrown his phone yet. When he did, it was because he realized that first, his portfolio had underperformed, and then he realized that he had paid twice as much in fees as me in my aggressive portfolio, and well over twice as much compared to the peers in the platform. He did call me recently with his new phone and apologized. He said, I'm sorry, I wasn't upset at you. I wasn't even upset at my financial advisor. I was mad and disappointed at myself for not paying closer attention to something that's so important for my family's future. He's decided to stay with his financial advisor, but he now uses Draft to keep his advisor accountable. He even used the blueprint option directly inside of the Draft app to make sure that his advisor filled in those missing allocation gaps that he had. My blueprint shows that I could take advantage of more fixed income and foreign. I'm not interested in fixed income right now, so I'm going to uncheck that. And instead of forwarding this to my financial advisor, I'm going to send this to TD Ameritrade and take advantage of low-fee, tax-efficient ETFs within a free account at TD Ameritrade. I can also swipe over to my accounts, and I can take a look at one of my funds. Let's say the Alliance Bernstein Growth Fund, which is over 200% more expensive than an ETF in the same Morningstar category. And if I switch over to return, I can see that it is also underperformed. So I'm going to add this ETF swap to my blueprint. And I'm curious to see what the results are for the other funds that I have left in my account. So we're so excited to release private beta today at Finovate. We're also excited to help average investors understand their investment accounts and take back control of those accounts, because what you don't know about your accounts today is costing you way more than you may know. Thank you.